Nicole Bass is going to make her debut at the end of this match. Meltzer would say that she hit the ring about 30 seconds early. She's going to press Tori and drop her. That leads to Sable with the Sable bomb. We haven't spent a lot of time talking about Nicole Bass. Any memories of signing her or spending time with her?
She was a star at the autograph sessions. She couldn't work. She just wasn't very good. She had no aptitude for the business. Was she in good shape? Of course. She was a bodybuilder.
Yes.
She always looked good, but she didn't have it. She had Howard Stern's background or backup exposure, et cetera, et cetera. She had a very unique look, but again, aptitude. She had no natural aptitude in pro wrestling. And on that level, a WWE level, if you don't have that, you're probably not going to make it.
Next up, we've got Shane McMahon pinning X-Pac to retain the European title in 8 minutes and 41 seconds. Patterson and Briscoe are going to try to attack X-Pac before the match, and you know what happens to them. Test comes out with Shane to offer a little smoke and mirrors. They focus on the Mean Street Posse. Yeah, it's interesting. Shane misses a Bronco Buster on X-Pac. He lays out Test, and now out comes Triple H and China. And after X-Pac uses the X Factor on Shane, Triple H runs in, and while China has the referee distracted, Triple H gives X-Pac the pedigree, and that allows Shane to win and keep the title. The Outlaws come out, but Triple H and Test were laying them out until Kane's music plays and everyone's scattered. I can't believe this is real, but this is sort of the end of DX. These guys were one of the top drawing acts, huge pops, huge reactions, huge merch sellers. And now it's time to move on. Is this Hunter's request? Do you think Hunter was ready to break out of the pack and not be a part of a faction?
His booking skills and his aptitude for booking came to the front there. He had, I think he felt like that he had accomplished about all he could in that DX thing there. They were hot. They got hot, and he jumped off that lightning bolt while it was still burning. And that's never a bad thing. You can get out too early and leave money on the ground, but I don't think that was the case here. Because you had your A team together, Triple H and China. So that was money. So I think that's what the issue was. Is just Triple H probably talked to Vince and said, "Hey, look, we've done about all we can with this thing, but with China and Joni and I, we can reinvent the wheel." And he was right in a lot of ways.
We should also talk about Shane McMahon. Boy, Dave Meltzer just heaped the praise on, saying he blew everyone away with being a first timer, with the possible exception of Kevin Green and Lawrence Taylor. He was probably the best first timer, way ahead of Eric Bischoff and David Flair and other folks. So people were impressed and said, Meltzer even said he probably had the second best match on the show, which is really saying something for you to be a quote unquote first timer like this.
Yeah. Good accomplishment, no doubt. But it was not totally surprising, but to the level that Shane ascended to in that match did surprise a lot of us. He performed better than expected, and so I think most people that saw it would probably agree with that.
Let's talk about the real stinker of the show. It's Undertaker and Big Bossman in a Hell in a Cell. On the one hand, everybody gets excited about seeing a Hell in a Cell. On another hand, boy, this just ain't it. It's less than ideal. They hang the Bossman. They act like he passed out. They go to a video feature and they never say anything about it again. Meltzer compared it to a Roadrunner cartoon. I mean, we're hanging a guy, Jim. And
I noticed that, Conrad.
What are we doing?
We're reaching for straws. We're grabbing things that aren't there.
Yeah.
Trying to create something out of nothing. And, look, without all that hokey pokey and all that hocus pocus and all that stuff, there's no doubt in my mind that Big Boss Man, aka Ray Traylor, and the Undertaker would not have had a great match. They liked each other. They paired up well. Boss Man at one time was a hell of a heel. He was big enough, strong enough that he could impact the armor, if you will, of Undertaker. But they went the other route. They started going smoke and mirror type things, and that was, I understood why. You try to give the match every advantage that you can to get over, but it didn't work. It didn't get over, and that's too bad. Undertaker deserved better, and so did Ray Traylor, quite frankly. But they're following the orders of the head man, and sometimes those orders are ill-fated. It's like anybody else. Anybody can make a mistake in that respect.
I know it's on pay-per-view, but man, we got kids here. It's weird. It's less than ideal. I don't love it. Less said about it, the best, I suppose. Let's talk about what you wrote in your book, though, because it's time for our main event. And you wrote, I could feel the energy from the crowd, and it immediately raised my confidence a little. Don't worry if they boo you, a stagehand said from the darkness. I stopped immediately. What? You think they'll boo me? Maybe, he said. This is the city that booed Santa Claus, after all. Have fun out there. I peeked through the curtain at the raucous crowd in the arena. Well, fuck, I whispered to myself as I walked out there to face the world again. As I walked down the aisle, the raucous Philly fans gave me a standing ovation. I tipped my hat to Michael Cole as I walked past him on the way to the announce table. Folks reached out to high-five me, and the whole arena was cheering. They didn't care how I looked. They were just happy to see me. And boy, was I happy to see them. When you take a look at the totality of your career, returning after Bell's palsy like this to sit down and call the main event at WrestleMania, this has to be a top 10 moment in your career, no?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think so. King was happy. I want to keep the King happy, and we did. Because we had such a comfort level of working together. That was kind of cool. But I had no idea how the crowd was going to react, and that stagehand or floor director, or producer, whatever, whoever it was back there, said, "Don't worry about it if they boo you." And I didn't know how to take that. I hadn't even thought about it to that degree, and I got no time to reflect.
Right.
Let's go to work. They're going to play your music here in about 30 seconds. And so they did, and the crowd cheered. They cheered loudly, and they were glad to see OJR back. And as I said in my book, it was a a situation where I was happy they did it, and they seemed to enjoy the seeing the fat guy from Oklahoma.
Steve Austin is going to regain the WWF title from The Rock in 16 minutes and 52 seconds of the main event. And fans are thankfully just able to forget about this little Postal JR moment. And Shawn Michaels comes out to stop Vince McMahon because Vince was thinking he was going to referee. And Shawn comes out and says, no, the corporation is banned. Get out of here. Mike Chioda, you're the referee. The guys are brawling and working hard, and Meltzer would heap the praise on Austin, saying he's taken some nasty bumps in particular, and you have to give him credit for working as hard as he does when he doesn't have to. But I guess that's really what The Rock was what Austin was really all about. We got some ref bumps and some shenanigans, and Earl Hebner is going to be here, and Mankind is going to come down and deck Vince. Austin does a schoolboy. There's a rock bottom. Austin blocks it, hits a stunner. That's the pin. And after the match, Earl Hebner, who seemed way more excited about Austin winning the title, drank beer in the ring with Austin. Austin then decked Vince after the match and delivered another stunner and poured beer on him to end the show. Meltzer would say it was a really good main event, not at the level of heat of their last Raw match or even the match in San Jose 2 weeks prior, but a good main event. And man, if we're sending fans home happy and Stone Cold's drinking beer and he's the champ, all is right with the world here in 99. No,
I think so. Let's don't overthink it.
Yes.
Just don't overthink it. They're on their feet. They're cheering. Your hero's drinking his traditional beer. He's denigrating the owner, the evil owner again. So the question there could have been, how much longer can Vince and Stone Cold have their issue?
Right.
Well, they get extended, and they did, and it worked out. It was a good story that kept evolving, and that's money. And it was money.